So this is somewhat of a controversial topic, but if you've ever wondered whether your dog really needs another vaccine, then you're not alone. We've been told for years that annual vaccinations are necessary to keep our dogs safe, but science tells a different story. So today, I want to talk about what titre testing is, why it matters, and how it can help you to make more informed choices about your dog's health. But first, what even is titre testing, or titre testing, depending on what part of the world you're from? So a titre test, it's just a simple blood test. It measures the level of antibodies against specific diseases. So think of things like parvovirus, distemper, adenovirus, rabies, among others. And then to explain a little bit further what antibodies are, they're a type of immune protein. So they actually help protect your dog from disease. So once your dog's body has produced antibodies against a virus, whether that's from vaccination or natural exposure, these immune proteins, they stay in their system, ready to fight off the infection if your dog is ever exposed again. So instead of just blindly revaccinating every year, a titre test will tell us if our dog is still protected or not. And here's the reality, many dogs do actually maintain protective immunity for years and years after their initial puppy vaccinations. And that was the trigger for me to talk about this topic today, because I've just recently received the titre test results back for one of my own dogs. It came back strongly protected, even though it's been 5 years now since his last vaccination. And it's the same story for all of my other dogs. So I don't vaccinate routinely anymore. I just titre test every 12 to 18 months on average. But hey, don't take my word for it. What do the experts say? So the current World Small Animal Veterinary Association guidelines, they're pretty clear. They state that vaccines should not be given needlessly, and that core vaccines should not be given any more frequently than necessary in adult animals. And as a general guideline, they say not more frequently than every 3 years, which may in itself surprise a lot of you compared to what you're hearing from your local vet. They also state that there is an absolute abundance of peer-reviewed published evidence showing that the duration of immunity provided by most modern core vaccines is just years and years, and that titre testing is in fact a valid alternative to routine vaccination. Yet, despite these guidelines, black and white, many vets are still recommending these yearly vaccinations. Honestly, I think it's just because it's been industry standard for so long, it's just ingrained in our culture. Unfortunately, over-vaccinating, it doesn't just waste your money, it does come with risks. So while vaccines are generally safe, they're not completely risk-free. Unfortunately, some dogs will experience adverse reactions, from very mild to very serious. But this is why titre testing is so valuable. It allows us to make evidence-based decisions about vaccinations for our own individual dog rather than just following a schedule out of habit. And if a titre test result shows that a dog truly lacks immunity, then that's fine. That's when revaccination would be indicated. The beauty of it is we're given that information and we're given that choice. So what's super interesting is that some natural compounds have now been shown to enhance antibody responses to vaccines. So what that means is that a pet that has been vaccinated while taking these compounds will have an even stronger immune memory if they're exposed to that particular virus in question again, which is what we want. So bovine colostrum, which is in our pure colostrum, it has been shown in studies to increase antibody responses to vaccines. They specifically use the rabies vaccines, suggesting that dogs or cats receiving bovine colostrum may mount a stronger immune response if exposed to the virus again. So that makes them less likely to get sick. The other one is spirulina, which is found in our organic super greens. So it's also been shown to stimulate the immune system, leading to greater antibody production and just a more robust immune system and immune defense overall. Now, while neither of these ingredients should replace vaccines if they're truly needed, they can absolutely help to support our dogs, have a really strong, well-balanced immune system, and just ensuring that our pets, are better equipped to fight off infections naturally in the first place. So what's the bottom line? Again, it's a controversial topic, but look, I personally believe that core vaccines are important. All of our dogs get their puppy vaccinations, but once your dog has developed lasting immunity, they just don't need those annually repeated boosters just for the sake of it. A simple titre test can tell you if your dog is still protected, allowing you to make that informed decision. So if you haven't titre tested your dog before, I do highly recommend, talking to your vet about it. Unfortunately, not all vets are super open to titre testing, and look, in terms of cost, from what I've seen on some social media channels, it can vary widely. But to give you an idea, my vet was charging around $105 for just the distemper and the parvovirus titre testing, which was, ballpark for the cost of a vaccination. So that was fine. But let me know your experience. Have you titre tested before? If so, like, how many years has it been since their last vaccination? What are their results showing? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. And I'd love to give a shout out to Dr. Will from Five Hounds. So he's planning on running some titre testing pop-up clinics across Australia at some point in the future, don't quote me when, but they'll actually be subsidising the cost, so price not a barrier to getting your dog titre tested. If you want to learn more about what's going on there, I would say definitely reach out to Five Hounds for more information on that. And as always, reach out to us at info@canineceuticals.com.au for any questions at all that you might have about the range and which products would be best suited for your individual dog. And as always, check out our amazing resources section on the website. That's canineceuticals.com.au. Thank you for another week of Thursday's Thoughts, and I'll see you next week.